Well, hi there, your Chief Visionary, Natasha Davis Bowen, and I am here on location with Mr. Tua Barley. He is one of the most popular attorneys here in Conyers, Georgia, and he is going to share some really great information with us. And I thought that it would be a great idea that you hear from him so you can actually put some things in place. So say hi to Mr. Tua Barley.
Hello.
How are you?
Doing fine, Natasha. Thank
Awesome, awesome. Well, thanks for welcoming us to your office. You have a beautiful office here, right here in Conyers off of Overlake Drive. Now, tell us a little bit about Barley Law Office.
Well, Barley Law Group is a firm that practices in primarily two areas of law. We do real estate and we do estate planning. So on the real estate side, we are your traditional real estate closing attorneys, both on the commercial and the residential side. And on the estate planning side, we do customized wills and trusts depending on the client's preferences and their goals.
Interesting. Now, how long have you been in business?
We've been in business in various entities probably since 2004 here in Conyers.
Awesome. Now, you chose Conyers, why?
Actually, it was really just a coincidence.
Really?
When I moved down from Indiana after graduating, I worked for a firm in Atlanta, and then I got approached by a real estate firm out of Duluth, and I worked there for a few years, and they said, well, you know what, we have a client in Conyers that's a major client of ours. Would you like to go out to Conyers to help out with the office there? And so for me, it was a great opportunity, and I haven't looked back ever since.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Now, what are some of the things that you're finding? Now, you have different things. You have estate planning, the real estate, and also business, as well as looking at the property and carrying people along. But tell us a little bit about some of the things that you're seeing in the estate planning industry, some of the concerns that you have when you come across your clients.
Well, primarily with clients, especially on the estate planning side, is just the opportunity to have planned. The majority of the clients that I've seen haven't appropriately planned, and even if they have, it's been 10, 15 years ago before, actually since the last time they planned. So that's one of the things that we're finding out a lot. I say all the time that my biggest competitor is not another wills attorney or an estate planning attorney. My biggest competition is just ignorance of the fact that there needs to be some sort of plan put in place.
That's interesting. Now, what about real estate? Now, we all know, wow, real estate industry has been a rough industry, not only for the residential, but also as well for the commercial side. So tell us a little bit about the real estate industry. What are some things people really need to be very aware of?
Well, the real estate industry is starting to rebound.
Okay.
We went from practicing real estate 100% of this firm until January 2008. We woke up one morning and determined that the market was so bad. You know, I went from 4 employees at the time to just me, doing A to Z and everything real estate, and that's where we diversified. But the real estate market itself is picking up a little. It's still heavily based on, you see a lot of investors coming into the market, and you see a lot of individuals who have waited to get that first home or to buy the second home, and so you're seeing a lot of that going on now. It's still not where it needs to be. We don't know exactly when that's going to be, but I think we're a lot better than where we were just a few short years ago.
I like that. You know, one of the things that I found to be so interesting is, you know, unfortunately, we all know about the big housing crisis, so we won't dive into that. Let's go on a more positive note. One of the things that's very interesting to me is there are certain pockets of areas where residential is great in terms of buying, and then some areas are bait in terms of selling. So what's your take on that when it comes to that perspective?
Well, I think especially in the early part of the 2000s, we saw a lot of a boom in housing.
Right.
And unfortunately, the areas that there was this sort of glut of housing are the areas that have been affected the most. So your Newton counties, your Henry counties, your Rockdale, even some of Gwinnett is heavily affected because builders built so much in those areas. The areas where you've seen the prices sort of stabilize are those that have not necessarily the industry, but where the homes are a little bit older. Your North Atlanta, your North Fulton, you see where the prices have stabilized a lot. And so in those areas, people are holding on to the properties. Now, everybody's still underwater, but it's just the degree to which they're underwater. In those places, they're less than out, I guess, in the East Metro area.
Other sides, yeah. You know, what would you say to someone that's looking at maybe, you know, they have this great property, a lot of money put in savings, and again, now we're starting to merge estate planning, your property. What would you say to that person that's, hey, you know what, maybe I'll go buy a couple properties and see if I can just turn some things around?
Well, again, what I always say, and I think maybe my father-in-law said it, especially with investing, is don't invest money that you don't that you would not want to lose. Basically, if you invest it, the risk is there that you would lose it. So you always start from that standpoint. But I think investing in the real estate market now is a good decision to be made. It's really determined on the value. Making sure that you get property at the right value, that you're providing a service in terms of getting renters in that will continue to build that value of the property. If you're looking for the short-term gain, it's not as much now than it was a few years ago, although you still may be able to find some properties that have some aesthetic things that can be fixed, and that doesn't provide or have to put too much energy or resources into that you may turn around and sell. But I think if you're in the market to invest in a property, take it over, and then bring in tenants, I think it'd be a better opportunity at this point.
Awesome. Well, this is Mr. Tua Barley. He is the chief founder here. He is the brains. He's everything behind. He's making sure the mission and the vision is being executed. But not only that, he is an attorney, and as an attorney, he is giving you sound advice. You know, like you just said, it's a good idea to go out and make those investments now. However, you want to do it wisely.
Correct.
You know, if you don't want to lose it, don't go investing it, because you just never know. It's a very you know, we don't know what happens in the market. You know, That's the thing. So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about the foundations of business. That's what we're all about. We're all about business. Now, you were actually in the heart of the recession.
Yes.
And you had to experience going from 4 employees all the way down to you're the solo man here.
Absolutely.
You know,
the janitor, the computer technician,
everything.
Everything.
How in the world did you get through it?
Well, I think the first and foremost, is the support.
Yeah.
I have been blessed and fortunate to have a loving and supportive wife.
Oh,
and I say it all the time, she really allows me to play attorney during the daytime. So I think that's been the blessing. Because if it wasn't for that, we would have closed the office a long time ago and left. But I think she sort of bought into the vision that this could possibly be something more than just a law firm. And we're still, again, not quite where we need to be. I call this period the treading water period. We're just trying to stay afloat, stay active, and try and do what we can. And so it was just the opportunity there that if you don't have those kind of resources available, because a lot of real estate attorneys went out of business at that period of time, but it's in, you know, just the opportunity to reflect, go back and start almost from scratch, you know, review and revise your processes in place, make sure that when you do grow and when you do get employees, that when they come in, that not only are they the right type of employees, but you set the necessary foundation or framework in place to allow those employees to thrive. So I think that's what we've tried to do, and hopefully, you know, time will tell. We'll see whether that's been successful or not.
I think it is. I think it's pretty successful. Not like I said, you know, very, very educated man here. He's very committed to what he's doing, very committed to his industry. You guys always hear me talk about becoming your industry. Well, Mr. Tua Barley has become his industry. He knows his industry inside and out. And he's also learned some really great things in his moment of growth. You know, as we like to say, one thing that you found is that you have to get out. You had to get from behind your desk. You had to get out in the community. And even when you didn't have any clients, you had to still find a way to go out in the community. You are a huge community advocate. You are developing the community very well. You even support the Shop the Rock, you know, Shop the Rock, which is a think local, buy local, spend local. It's really about building up the local atmosphere. Tell me a little about some of the things that triggered when you said, I have to invest back into my community.
Correct. Well, again, back before the the occurrence occurred. We won't talk about it too much.
Just leave that aside.
Things were great for, especially us real estate attorneys. We never had to go outside of our office. We basically just kept the doors open and we would get business. And as that rapidly dissolved, you had to determine, how do I bring more business into the office?
Right.
You know, I could sit down and work on all these processes and work on all the frameworks, but if people didn't know about the firm, then there wouldn't have been a good opportunity to come in. So I went out initially and I sought out organizations that were primarily focused on what I did. So I joined the local real estate board, I joined the Women's Council of Realtors and some other organizations that were specifically focused on real estate.
Yes.
And it helped, again, developing those relationships, because I'm a big advocate in the fact that people do business with people they like.
That is true.
And so if they don't get an opportunity to like you, then there's no opportunity to do business with you.
Yeah.
And so starting from there, we went from those real estate specific organizations to broadening it out. And I think one of the biggest investments that I did was joining my local chamber. I had previously been a member of the chamber but never really participated in any of the activities. I received the dues notices, I made the payments, I would go maybe to one or two networking meetings and meet everybody in the area, but never really participated. And so when the market went down, I made the decision to go out and search. It was really partly to just search out business.
Right, like I got to get out there.
Exactly. To be perfectly honest, it was purely for business. But I think what has evolved is the passion to continue working in the community. I think the local chamber here does a lot in the community. We try and be an advocate for businesses and an advocate for the community. And so as part of that participation, you become more involved in the organization, and then you see sort of the fruits of those the labor.
You know, that is so interesting you say that, because sometimes people, they think, well, you know, hey, I met you today and I expect you to just spend all your money with me today, but you know, like you said, you know, you had to get out and you had to invest time. And let's give people a little perspective. That didn't happen in 1 month.
Absolutely.
Or 2 months.
Absolutely not. Not in 3, not in 6. I can probably say it takes about 2 to 3 years on average. Because again, these individuals have to be familiar with you, have to be comfortable with you, have to understand where you're coming from, what your values are, your morals. Because they're not just going to send business, you know, some will, and those are, you know, those can be the great, those can be the great clients as well. But again, it's sort of a two-way street. You also want to be cautious. Not everybody that sends you business is an ideal client.
That's true.
What you have to determine is, what does your ideal client look like?
That's
true.
You know,
and how can they interact best with the firm? Because it's easy to get that first sort of bring in the bang for the buck. They bring in the business, they're a great client. But what you determine is that the quicker they come in, the quicker they tend to leave as well.
That's interesting.
And so the longer that you develop that relationship, the better, I think, in the long term, the viability of your firm or practice will be.
That's an interesting point you made, just, you know, highlighting, you know, if you rush them in, you know, they're going to come in probably maybe because of necessity or pressure, but then they're not going to stay because it's like they're not connected to you. And they're like, hey, listen, I know he's going to take good care of me. I know this firm is going to take good care of me. And, you know, it really is. Longevity does go a lot further, so that's interesting. Well, Mr. Tua Barley is right here. We are highlighting some of the best people in the community. You know, we bring it to you live. And I just wanted to say thank you for being committed to your vision. Thank you for being passionate about what you do. And let's tell everyone where they can find you, how they can get in touch with you, website, address, and everything.
Okay. Well, we have a website. It's currently being redeveloped, but it's currently barlaylaw.com, BARLAYLAW.com. And we're here in Conyers, just off of 138 and Flat Shoals Road, easy access to the Highway I-20.
Yeah.
So it's
quick and easy.
Absolutely.
Lovely office too. You guys have just got to come out here. It's absolutely lovely. Now you do a little bit more in the community. He's very humble, and I'm going to toot his horn a little bit. Now, what's going on? You have a couple, you know, highlight positions that's on the way. You have a couple of organizations. Your firm is hands-on with helping the community in terms of feeding individuals and things like that. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, as we talked about, becoming active with the chamber, I guess the more active you become, the more they try and find responsibilities for you to have. So
Right.
I've been blessed again. I was selected as the chairman-elect, and I will serve the chamber as the chairman next year. So this year was all about shadowing and
Yes.
understanding the roles and responsibilities and trying to figure out what exactly I'm going to be doing next year. So I think that's going to be a great opportunity, and hopefully I can live up to the responsibility that will be there. Another great organization that I recently became a part of, there's a new non-profit that started about a year ago that was based on fighting homelessness within the communities. The organization, the framework, or the structure was to partner with local churches, local congregations, and assist families within our network in being able to take them off the streets and provide them with some stable or transition housing to a certain degree and be able to get them back on their feet. And so we were able to do that. And I guess sometimes it's the best of both worlds. Last week we were fortunate. We were able to kill, I guess, 3 birds with 1 stone.
Okay.
Because the local United Way Foundation charity had a annual barbecue that they have every year,
Yes.
where you buy plates of barbecue and some of the proceeds go towards United Way.
Yes.
Well, fortunately this year they were able to partner with the same organization that I'm a board member with, and so some of the proceeds from there were being used towards, again, fighting the homelessness.
Yay, that's exciting.
And then to add another touch to it, which we thought, because I didn't know how, it's easy to spend the money and buy the plates, but how do I use the plates?
Right.
And so what I did was I decided that what better way than to thank the individuals that have brought the business, those committed agents that have brought business to the firm. And so we had an annual client appreciation luncheon where we bought some plates from the barbecue and hosted agents here within the office. So that was a good opportunity to again share what we've sort of developed within the community with those agents.
That is awesome. Now, don't you wish you were a client? You'd have came to the barbecue.
Exactly. There you go.
Well, listen, this is what it's all about. It's all about getting out there, getting connected. Not only is it about telling people about what you do, but learning what other people do and how you can help. The more you reach out and lend those helping hands, you'd be surprised. It's the law of reciprocity.
Absolutely.
It comes back around, and just head out, do things from your heart. And, just be passionate and committed to what you do. Give 100% of yourself, and you'd be surprised that, the law of reciprocity, the world will give you back 100% because what you sow, you will reap.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
That is absolutely true.
Mr. Tullibari, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. All right, you guys log on to barleylaw.com so you can find out a little bit more about what you can get here and, some of the awesome services, consultations, as well as estate planning. Do not go out and invest in another property without having Barley Law on your corner. All right, your Chief Visionary signing out.